Previously, here I'll go back and actually show this from the ball's point of view. So Magnify.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and family beyond the binary, good evening and welcome once again to the Coach's Corner. We are here at our second episode. Now, if you are just tuning in for the first time, the Coach's Corner is a show where we take a deep dive into one of the feature match maps from the previous week of Overwatch Tranquility. Now, I am here as your host, Warren Juggle God Hammond, to ask the stupid questions so that you don't have to. And tonight, our coach is going to be Jakeleon. How are you doing tonight, Jake?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, excited to see you here. Now, first off, I wanted to know, how is the season going for you so far in your team?
Well, this is the first ever year our team's been together. I think we've been together for a total of maybe 2 months, 2.5 months. Pre-season, we made it past round 1. We lost round 2, but that's okay. We did all right. And currently, we're 1-0. We won all 4 maps, so
nice.
It's going all right so far.
That's fantastic. And just to remind everybody here as well, what team do you coach for in Overwatch Tranquility, and what tier?
I coach for the Reckless Platlaws, part of Reckless NA in the Transcendence tier. You probably, some people might know of Reckless Alpha, Reckless Shockwave, maybe Reckless Sigma, who I think have played in previous years.
Okay, got you. Very cool. Now, I understand you had kind of a neat start to your Overwatch life. This was a game that actually your brother bought, and you ended up getting obsessed with it. Is that correct?
Yeah, so my younger brother, back in 2016, whenever Overwatch came out, was really interested in the game, and I played TF2 at the time, and he loved it. So I'm like, okay, I'll try it out. Fell in love, played on Xbox for maybe 2 seasons, and then made the transition over to PC Season 4, and I've been playing since then.
Oh, very cool. That's interesting. You mentioned Season 4. That is actually the season I started playing Overwatch as well. So, yeah, way back in the day. And
way back when.
Yeah, way back when Mercy could res an entire team of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But not quite back as far as like the Bastion Shield days. I wasn't playing then.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. Well, tell you what, why don't we go ahead and get into the map? I want to talk a little bit first about the overall match that we are going to be talking about. We're going to be featuring the match between the Inferno Foxes and the Quokka Queens. And the two members that we have are going to be Magnify, one of the main tank, actually, for the Inferno Foxes, and Rocket, one of the support players for the Quokka Queens. This series did eventually go 3-1 to the Quokka Queens, but we picked the map Eichenwald, actually, for this show, because I don't know about you, Jake, but I felt like this was one of the more competitive maps in the series. We did see both teams capping it, and I just think it's going to be a nice one to look over, especially since last week we did a control map. I wanted to make sure that we did something with a payload this time.
Yeah, for sure. I saw lots of great things in this map, and I'm excited to go over it.
Yeah, so let's start off by taking a look kind of from above at things. Now, can you give us a little bit of a preview, Jake, regarding kind of what we're going to see, or maybe talk about important places on this map, whatever you think is important to highlight before we get into the game itself?
For sure. I do not currently have access to the drawing thing. But,
there you are.
There we go. Awesome.
Yep.
So there's plenty of things to go off of here on Eichenwald. I mean, you usually see in Overwatch League and higher competitive play, a dive comp seems to be more of the dominant sort of composition up until the third point, usually, in that more enclosed space where you start to see a brawl. Of course, everyone knows that this is where the attackers come from, and usually the defenders might hold somewhere about here at this corner or over here in this side room, giving them lots of options for defense. On attack, there's plenty of ways to attack. You can come in through the side and up through this corridor to attack to point. You can come around this way, stay low ground, go straight to point. You could even see a sim TP. Maybe if you're feeling a bit risky, do the sim wall May TP right over the building that everyone sees in comp games. But it's a great map. I think this is a fan favorite map. Of course, everyone knows King's Row is the fan favorite map, but this is an excellent map. This is an excellent map. There's plenty of ways to attack, plenty of ways to defend, and honestly, dive comp might be the dominant one, but I think any comp could be viable here, honestly.
Now, you brought up some interesting points about defense. I kind of wanted to ask you, when you mentioned two different places that teams can set up for defense. What would be a reason you would set up on one place versus the other?
So over here at about the bridge, a lot of people like to set up here. You'll see it in Owl, different leagues. They like to set up there because of the health pack and the control over the main choke point. This isn't like most maps where you see teams holding directly right in the choke point, because it's just kind of weak. Teams can go over, teams can run a Pharah and get out of there. So teams on defense like to play for a pretty easy escape route. If you play here in the room on top of the bridge, you have access to the health pack, quick access back to point. Alternatively, if you decide to play back here on the corner, you have, like I said, quick access to point there, health pack there. I believe there's a health pack over there.
Yeah, the little white dots on the map are actually health packs, so you're absolutely right. Yeah, that's a health pack.
And then, of course, if you are running a dive, maybe, if they get aggressive, you can counter dive their back line pretty simply. So the two different spots really play into the dive, I would say. That's what you tend to see when people play dive on this map, either playing for that counter dive, playing back on point, or playing a bit more patiently right here on the bridge, making the enemies walk past them and making the enemies make aggressive moves up onto the high ground.
I see. Excellent. Thank you so much. Well, tell you what, why don't we go ahead and start talking to our players? So let's introduce them right now. Rocket and Magnify, how are you two guys doing today?
Pretty good. And yourself?
Yeah, doing good. Thanks for joining us. Now, before we get this started, or before we get into the map, Jake, do you have any questions for our players? Anything in terms of like what each team was trying to do, what comms were like, any goals, things like that?
I did look over the map beforehand, and we're going to look over here in a sec. I guess I'll just start off because I kind of want to, I'm really good at mental game and stuff. That's kind of my specialty. So I guess I just want to ask you all, what was your all's mentality going into not only the match, the very first map of the match, but then going into this map? And I guess I'll start with Rocket. You can go first.
All right, yeah. So coming into the match, I feel that we were pretty confident. We had a pretty good showing in the preseason tournament, even though we didn't have our full roster for both games. This was my first time playing. I didn't get to play in either of the preseason games, so this was kind of just testing the waters, seeing kind of the strength of both the teams just in the tournament in general. And then more specifically, going over to Eichenwald, we ended up dropping Busan because I feel we were really unprepared for what Inferno Foxes threw at us with the Ball Zen comp. And then Hanamura, I feel like we made some really good adaptations. And then when we came into Eichenwald, we kind of just kept it rolling, made sure that we were staying on our toes, kept our comms clean.
Okay, so coming into Eichenwald, what was the score of the match?
1-1.
1-1. Okay, awesome. So Magnify, what about you? Team and your mentality maybe going into the match and going into this map.
So going into the match itself, we were, I would say we were fairly confident. Probably not as confident as Coca Queens. We were not very sure, and we'd been scrimming kind of weirdly. And this also led to some weird map picks from us. So after we played Hanamura, going into the map now, we saw that they were like really good at Brawl, and so we didn't want to pick King's Row. However, in an attempt to learn ball comp as well as we could, we scrimmed almost entirely King's Row ball comp leading up to this. And we didn't want to do that because they had beat us on the Brawl when we had tried to run the ball on Hanamura. And so we were like a little bit shiftier, and we're like, well, what do we do now? So we kind of was like Eichenwald because it's slightly more favorable to the dive. And we hadn't scrimmed Nimbani, even though that was probably even more favorable to our dive. But we weren't entirely like not confident in our Brawl, but we didn't think it was as good as the ball comp. So yeah.
Well, that's great. I mean, I'm glad that at least you all identified your opponent's strength and you all use that to plan forward. That's one of the biggest things when it comes to mental game. You want to be able to identify your opponent's weaknesses, your opponent's strengths, play around it, play your game, and use that to your advantage because everyone has strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, tell you what, why don't we go ahead and get into the map now? So, we have everything already queued up for you. Jake, I'm going to go ahead and let you take it away. I think you've got control of everything. Good.
All right, so here on Eichenwald, we have the on attack and the Quokka Queens on defense. I'm just going to play it. I like the two comps I'm seeing here. Kind of touched on the different things a little bit pre. We have Inferno Foxes. Looks like y'all are running a Chaos comp, which we generally say is Ball, Diva, Brig, Zen, DPS, can be whatever. And the Quokka Queens, y'all are running, I guess, kind of a dive with the Pharah Mercy, which is respectable. I've run that before. I will say the only thing to note about this comp is the fact that your Ana is extremely exposed, which that's okay. Your Ana's not going to get too many peels, but you make up for that in the form of your Pharah getting tons of value. All right, so I'd love to check out what y'all do here. Very quickly, just do both of you have an idea of what your team's plan was going into this first fight? I guess I'll start with the attacking team. So Magnify.
Well, kind of like, I guess what we wanted to do is kind of slowly scout with me and Sombra and just sort of, after we knew their composition, like stage a little bit in cover and then really quickly like blitz the Ana with me, Blink, and Wolf. That's me, Ball, Sombra, Tracer. As quick as possible. And pretty much we would have our Diva doing running peel for the Pharah, and our Brig running peel for the Tracer.
Okay. And what about the defending comp? So Rocket, what were y'all thinking?
So we knew the strengths and weaknesses of the comp we were running. I believe this was the first map that we ended up running this comp. We knew that I was going to be super vulnerable. So basically, trades were the name of the game here. Especially since Titanic is a really good Pharah. So basically, just trade whenever I die, which is going to happen a lot.
Yep.
Spoiler alert.
Yep.
Whenever I die, we're just making sure that we take one or two of Inferno Foxes with us.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how that comp goes. You're just trying to get pure value out of that Pharah. And I've done stuff with that comp before. We've played it in the Transcendence tier, and that's fine. Losing your on is okay as long as you get value out of it. All right, so let's just kind of see how this first fight goes off. Positioning-wise, we got the... Where are you at, Rocket? Let's see where you're sitting. All right, yeah, right here in the back. Not bad at all. Pharah's just chilling there. There's the ball scouting. I see Sombra has scouted out the Ana. Sorry, getting a little bit of lag there. And the rest of your team just kind of waiting, right? You're just waiting for that opportunity. And this is something that I saw. I saw really good scouting when I was watching this previously. Here, I'll go back and actually show this from the ball's point of view. So Magnify. I'm guessing in the comms, what did Wolf, your Sombra, call out? Hey, there's the Ana. She's weak. Let's go for her. Is that what happened pretty much?
I think they called Sombra. I think the Sombra called the position, and I said, okay, let's dive now.
Okay. So let's see. You go for the dive. You get slept. That's okay. You try to get out, and you do, and Ana gets punished for it. And again, like I said, Rocket, it's not really your fault. That's just how the comp is built. But do you all get value out of it? Let's see. Their backline is a bit weak, split off from the rest of the team. And they're kind of just stuck here at the choke. This is something that I noticed. Y'all made that very aggressive move to get the Ana, but then you all were kind of just stuck at the choke. No one really wanted to make that aggressive move to the point, which is difficult. You're running a Zen Brig into a Pharah. Very difficult. They both get almost destroyed by a Pharah. So I guess you have your Diva kind of sitting there, not really babysitting, but just protecting them from the Pharah. And the Pharah comp has kind of just created a split team. It has split y'all's team pretty well. But let's see what happens here. Ball's still in the back, and rest of the back line is just being held here by a Pharah. Ball comes back to help. Really good hack there. I saw that was a really good hack, high priority hack. And at this point, Sombra has her eyes set to kill that Mercy, and that's really good. And what's a Pharah without her Mercy? All right. So yeah, the Pharmercy's down. Like I said, what's a Pharah without her Mercy? You have no Mercy. That Pharah is going to die really fast. So now we have a very aggressive play here. Y'all's patience paid off. I mean, it could have been punished pretty hard by right gameplay, but it's tough when you have 0 heals. So that's a free cap there for the Inferno Foxes. Really well done. So we were, as I was just saying, I want to look at ults here real quickly. After the first, I guess that was just one ongoing fight. Inferno Foxes, y'all are rocking the ults. Every single ult about to be online. Second point. And Quokka Queens, y'all popped a nano there at the end. I saw that back. I want to go check that out real quickly. Uh-oh, here we go. Alright, so I'm assuming this is a winnable fight. Y'all aren't down too much. Let's just slow it down here so we can actually see what's going on. You're about to die. You very quickly charge this up, and I'm going to go ahead and assume I know what happened here. You were probably going for the diva.
Yeah.
And caught the tracer. Is that what happened there?
Yeah. We were calling for stall because we did think the fight was still winnable. This happens one more time where I missed nano onto the intended target. I'm sure we'll get to that later. But this one I don't think was too bad because we ended up, I think, getting a pick out of it anyways, which kind of helped us stabilize on the second point because they couldn't just like take high ground for free.
Yeah.
Fullerton gets one clipped.
Yeah. Yeah. So like overall, I don't think this is the worst nano I had, but I definitely wish I could have it back.
Yeah, it probably wasn't a really bad nano. Y'all probably could have stalled that if it got on the diva, but you know, not the end of the world. It happens to everyone. All right, so coming into this second point, like I said, ult. Do y'all do an alright job at ult tracking on both teams here? Do y'all try ult tracking? Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say our ult Oreo does ult tracking, Mr. Oreo Man there. He does a really good job of it. Sometimes I assist. It's more communal with him like leading it, but yeah, overall it ends up going really well. Our ult tracking.
So Rocket, were you all coming into this fight with the mindset they probably have all their ults, or did you? Okay, so this is something that I've seen a decent amount of teams do that I'll let this play out and I'd recommend. When you all are down ults like this, and especially on a map like this, what I would maybe recommend and what I've been told by some other teams and coaches is you want to go into this fight and maybe poke for a bit. Get a few more ults. Don't let them engage. Don't engage onto them. Go onto them. Ult rush them. If you ult rush them and they don't take a single ult, like they don't use a single ult, what you can do, especially at this position, is hold right there at the door. Just hold in this area and force the ults out of them. If you're holding right there at the door, especially with the Pharah that's going to be constantly barraging the doors, it's going to be very, very hard for them to get out without ults. And that's an all-right way just to force ults out of the other team. Of course, it's a bit tricky. In a situation where they have 6 ults, you all have about to be 4 or 3, I think, because Baby Diva. It's tough, but if you can make that happen, you're in a really good position to get ult economy going and catch up overall. So let's see here.
I have a quick question about that spawn hold. Is that spawn hold going to be similar to what you might see on, say, like Rialto, right? What's the other one? Havana. Yeah, exactly. Where, you know, even if you don't get, you know, any kills just by posting up there and getting rid of time, you found value. Is it a similar mindset with that kind of a spawn hold?
I would say it's a little bit of the same mindset. There's still similarities. Yeah, you're trying to get rid of time. There's not a lot of room for them to sneak past you, with their only options being right through there, which you'll have watched, and right there where that's underlining. There's not a lot of opportunities for them to sneak past you. I will give caution, though. They do have a Sombra, which might make it a little bit tough and allow them to sneak by. But I think it's more of a mindset of they have a better ult economy than us. If we hold them right there at the door, give them very little opportunity to make space, their chaos comp isn't going to get value. Because the whole point of a chaos comp is let's surround the enemies and use not necessarily team composition and team coordination to win. Let's just use our raw skill to win. Kind of, I've heard people compare it kind of like play it like a quick play game or play it like a comp game, which it works out as it's been seen. I mean, it works out. A lot of teams are playing it. So by preventing them from doing that, you are really forcing them to use ults to get out. You can gain your ults back, and you're in a good position. It doesn't work for every team, but it's something that I've seen some teams do. it's not for every team if that's not for you. So coming up here, I see the Pharah make, I think, a aggressive move coming up soon. We'll watch that. Pharah is just used your ult, just peeking. Nice sleep, really good sleep rocket there on the ball.
It was very sad.
I think that was like a pixel angle as well. I think I barely managed to hit that.
So this is the position I'm talking about. You are making them reset, and look at how much value this Pharah is getting just from poking over here. If y'all push up and play in this little parking lot, let your Pharah sit there and spam on the door, she's going to get ult charge. There's no way she won't get ult charge. Now, it's okay that you guys didn't do it, but it could just help if you want to get that tempo and the ult charge for the Pharah. So anyways, like I said, I think Pharah a bit aggressive here. Coming up. Yeah, right there. If you remember it all, Rocket, do you remember anything from the comms there, or what happened there, what an idea was there? If not, might have been just a small thing that y'all missed.
I think that was a miscommunication thing.
Okay.
I think maybe our ball or our tracers said that they were going in for a specific target, and we tried to capitalize on it. Unfortunately, it got punished. It was either that or it was a misplay. I don't completely remember what happens there, but if I had to guess, I think that was probably what the comms were like then.
Okay. And I keep kind of going back to the whole mentality thing. What is Magnify? What was y'all's mindset coming into this fight? What was y'all's plan?
We didn't have as coherent an alt plan as I wish we did.
Okay.
And especially this pick on the Pharah kind of disrupted us because we were like, oh, do we need to execute our alt plan now, or can we maybe hold on to a couple of them? I think the overall plan was to try to EMP and bomb.
Okay.
And maybe mines or trance depending reactively.
Okay.
If we needed to, but
I really
keep
going. You're good.
The other overall goal was to rotate the backline with the D.Va, the Zen, and the Brig onto the high ground.
Okay. Kind of through the castle, just kind of run right through there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much, but we obviously would need to clear out pretty much this passageway for a bit at least, or keep people busy. And that's part of why we were confused when we got the Pharah, if we still needed to alt plan, because the Pharah is pretty much the biggest thing putting pressure on that rotation. And so we were like, oh, can we just kind of walk through now, maybe? Or do we need to still use all the same amount of alts?
Yeah, for sure. And I really like your forcing point. That's always good as a ball. I mean, when in doubt, just force point. Maybe try to get a bit of pressure on the point. So what happens here, they throw a pulse bomb out, mines go out, EMP to counter the mines. Not a too bad use. I don't necessarily agree with that use, but I don't know. It depends on the situation. A lot of ults going out here. Kind of hard to follow. I'll slow it down here a bit just so we can... so let's just process what just happened there. Mines went out, D.Va bomb went out, Pulse Bomb went out, all from the Quokka Queens. And then on attacking, I think y'all just popped Rally and EMP, which is honestly alright. That's a 2 for 3 ult trade, and y'all are still sitting on a good ult economy. You can take your time here, wait for your Zen to come back, and make that aggressive. Tracer's trying to get out. Lost the Zen again. Alright. Forcing point again, I like that. I mean, you're just making space for your team. And something I do like seeing, I really like seeing the switch over to Echo. Strong switch, counters the Pharah, helps to make a little bit more space, and helps to pressure out the Ana as well, just spamming mines on her.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is, at this moment is where I really started to feel pressured.
Yeah.
Because, as you were talking about, Magnify, with your core rotation up to that high ground, it seemed to be only your Tracer just trying to make the space, and, kind of kick me and our diva off of the high ground to
Yeah.
make that happen. But once you swap to the Echo, you definitely had a lot more success with that.
Yeah, the Echo's really good switch, and y'all switched over to the Mercy as well, which is great. Just to help out the Echo. Your Zen is gonna get pressured pretty hard.
He felt the heat pretty hard as well here.
Yeah, it's kind of an exchange. You're losing the peels for your Zen, but you're gaining pressure that you can put on Pharah, the Mercy, the Ana. Lots of pressure being put out there. So let's just watch as this next fight plays out. Ball, once again, probably going to head over to point, put a little point pressure on. Perfect. Still waiting on that aggressive move. Here we go. Echo going high ground. Yep, pressure out the Pharah.
Systems at max.
Y'all lose your Zen, and I like the nano on the Pharah. This is something we see a lot, a tempo nano on the Pharah, nano on the... is that what y'all are calling it out for? Just kind of get some tempo, get her ult, get a win condition online. What do you think, Rocket?
Yeah, so essentially, like, kind of in our comp, Nano and Barrage are two really powerful ults to cycle. So, basically, if one's not online, we hope that the other one is. It's kind of just, like, enabling the Pharah, and especially when Pharah has Nano, she can cut off rotations really well, which is what happens here.
Actually, while you were talking there, I accidentally stumbled upon what looked like a really nice play by the Pharah.
Yeah, this direct.
I'll watch this. Give him some props here.
Yeah.
Really nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think Titanic was definitely our player of the match during this game.
I mean, you might have lost him, but you might have just lost him 2 picks. I mean, that's really big. Rest of the fight's going out here. Nice pulse bomb. And it looks like it's actually going to be shifting towards Inferno Foxes. That's simply how it goes. Y'all have closer spawns. Y'all have the more countering comp. Let's check out the Echo here, cleaning up. And alright, y'all won a pretty strong fight. Going into this next fight, y'all are sitting on a Mines Trans, which I'll be honest, I noticed y'all have been sitting with this Trans for about 3.5 minutes or so. Was there a specific reason y'all were holding it?
I believe it's mostly just because Fulgen got one shot every time he wanted to use Trance.
Yeah.
Or like the biggest threat got dealt with. Like you saw that one time when I believe actually Fulgen was also one shot here, but when we EMP'd the mines, that would have been a reasonably good place to trance. Also the Nanofara, Fulgen just got one shot right before that, or maybe like 2 shot pretty easily.
Yeah,
So
and then it
ended up just being held as kind of a back pocket threat.
Okay, yeah, for sure. I mean, of course that happens sometimes. What I like to say is there's no point in holding your ult for over like a minute and a half when you would have just had it again by then. But sometimes that happens. Sometimes when you want to use it, you'll get killed. It's not a good feeling, especially to get one shot by a nanoed Pharah. Feels good for the Pharah, not for the dude on the end of the rocket. So anyways, Quokka Queens, what were y'all's plan coming into this retake?
Kind of just setting up our Pharah, since it's really easy to get stuffed here, especially when we're coming back from respawn. So our biggest priority here was just getting our Pharah out into position and kind of getting me into a good spot where I have a good sight line. Our ball can find a good dive target, preferably onto their Zen. So basically here, we're just making sure that we're not getting stuffed indoors.
Yeah, I mean, you have plenty of options here. You know this is going to be last to hold this second point. Pharah could come through this window. You could split your tanks. Maybe one come out that way, one come out that way. I guess y'all aren't really playing the Chaos comp necessarily, but it doesn't hurt to split your comps. If you really want to pressure out that Zen, maybe your Pharah quickly up there, you know the Zen will be sitting in the back with very little peels, so it's really his only option. One of my biggest tips I would give, and y'all touched on them kind of beforehand and saying like what you were going to do going into this map, but in each individual map, you want to learn from each fight. You want to learn who is playing a good match, who's playing a bad match, who's out of position, who is popping off, etc., etc. You want to learn this team for this map specifically. You might have saw something on Busan that you just played or something, or whatever the previous map was, and it might not necessarily translate over to this map. You want to use each individual fight maybe as a learning curve to make the next fight better. So maybe when you're coming out on this defense, you want to be talking to the team not only what your plan is, but something like, hey, looking at their comp, they have nothing, pretty much nothing to peel for this Zen. So he has no option but to sit way back, give Harmony Orbs, and shoot his shots. You know he hasn't used his trans yet, so he needs to be your first target. You all need to identify that if you take him out, they lose so much DPS, not as much sustain, but they honestly lose a lot by losing their Zen. And kind of the same idea for Inferno Foxes on attack here. Hopefully, if y'all are doing an alright job at ult tracking, you know that they have a Pharah ult for sure, maybe coming up on a Mercy ult, maybe both tank ults. So you know that Pharah is coming out, she is looking for a barrage, and the only thing y'all have to protect yourselves from it is Diva DM and Zen ult. So you all need to understand, okay, we have two options. We protect this Zen, make sure he doesn't die, or you're holding that DM for that barrage. You just need to have a plan and be confident going into each fight. Never go into a fight saying, oh, they have 6 ults, this is a lost fight. The only time that's okay is if you're saying this is a dry fight. Dry fight, there's nothing wrong with a dry fight, saying we're going to use this next fight to our advantage. We're going to use it to get ults out of them. That's a completely different mentality than saying they have 6 ults, there's no way we're winning this fight. And I know a lot of people don't do that, but it's kind of a subconscious thing that might sit in your head. Like, you never say it out loud. You're always like, hey, let's do this. We can still win this fight. But sometimes in the back of your head, you might be thinking, well, there's no way we're going to win this fight. They have 6 ults. They're just going to ult us and wipe us. Change that mentality. Make the mentality, hey, we're going to make this fight an advantageous fight. We're going to use it to get out ults. So then the next one, that's our fight. Always turn your ideas into positive. If you ever think negative, it's going to hurt. Because thinking negative never puts you at 100%, and you always got to be at 100% if you want to win these fights. So coming up here, let's see. Y'all go out, ball out the right, up top, really good. Probably looking for the Zen. Pressured out really hard there. We have a Tracer 1v1. There it is. Nice DM. You couldn't save the ball, but really good DM. There goes Zen getting caught out of position. I really like that. I'm assuming you called it out. Hey, let's get on the Zen in the back. Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
And at this point, it's pretty basic cleanup. So we'll just skip ahead here to the next fight. Looks like we're... Echo, you're just trying to look for that 1v1. There's the trans finally to clear out some mines. There we go. Throwing bomb in. Holy, Tracer got caught. Oh, oops. Ball, once again, forcing point. You're doing your job. That's great. And we just kind of have slow picks happening. It seems like Quokka, y'all are getting maybe a little bit too aggressive here. When you should just maybe be playing a bit more conservative. You had no reason. Y'all didn't really have a reason to push into them. They really didn't have too many ults there. I guess they used him a bit there at the beginning. But y'all have ults. If you push into them, as you're moving in, you're feeding them ults, giving them an advantage towards that last fight. You want them to come into you, especially if it's the last fight. If this was maybe different situation, not the last fight, you could push into them, peek a little bit. If this payload was farther back as well, push into them, maybe get some ults, get a pick if you can, and guarantee that recontest. In a position like this, you can't really guarantee that recontest, and you're just really staggering yourselves. It takes really good coordination to make that work.
Yeah, for sure. One thing that I want to mention is Magnify actually had a really nice boop on me here. He booped me. He booped me out. Yeah, it was before I died to the pulse bomb. But he booped me out of the range of Titanic to give him nano.
Okay.
Oh,
and
wow.
then I got stuck. And then I got stuck by pulse bomb. So that was a really nice play that I just wanted to point out. And it was potentially fight swinging.
Oh, okay. I saw that
wow.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those plays that goes overlooked.
Yeah, one of those micro moments that ends up actually
Yeah, the
having
micro moments,
macro effects. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. We knew you had nano and that we wanted to try to kill you before you got it off. The booping you out of range was just a convenient side effect of that overall goal, but it worked out, so.
Yeah, I mean, that works out. Alright, so anyways, we're coming into the inside portion, and this is a time that you might see teams switching over to a brawl. Was it Quokka Queens that said y'all have a strong brawl, or which team said they had a decent brawl?
Inferno said Quokka had strong brawl.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I mean,
Or we
Quokka,
recognized it on Havana.
Quokka, how do you feel about y'all's brawl? Rocket, Rocket. How do you feel about y'all's brawl? Would you say?
I think we're pretty comfortable on it. Obviously, when we want to play like really heavy Rhine comps, and we saw it like throughout the series, we'd put Silent Sword in because Silent Sword is a very comfortable Reinhardt, and he's a very good shot caller on the Rhine. So we kind of feed off of that and that energy, and I think we're quite an aggressive brawl team, and it works out for us most of the time. So I say we're pretty comfortable on the brawl.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what's for you, you said you have a player, so maybe that's not the call on a map like this. But if you feel like it, I mean, on defense especially, you can brawl here. It's closed in. That Echo's not going to get as much value up in the air. You can get pretty good value on the brawl here just by playing these corners, speeding into those weak targets, especially that Zen or something.
I think we were just a little bit hesitant to play the brawl here just because of how it went on Busan.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
Plus we had some ultimacies. So I think if I remember correctly, one of us asked, do we want to swap brawl here? But I think we counter called it with let's just use our ults, and if we get an opportunity, we can swap. Okay,
well that's good. Yeah, using ults is good. There's some ults, like, you know, it's not a big deal. You'll get more value by switching. But I do like what you said about. I think you said we didn't feel too good after our brawl on Mecha Base, was it? And so we weren't too sure about switching to it here. That's something, again, kind of towards mentality. You don't want to get into that negative mindset. Just because it was poor previously, it's your game. You all have scrimmed with it. You know you're comfortable with it. That was a completely different map. What hurts in trying it? I mean, this is a completely different map. I'm sure as Inferno Fox is playing a different comp here than what you were playing up against on Busan.
No, this is the same comp.
Same exact comp.
Very similar. Very similar. Okay. Maybe DPS.
So yeah, maybe that is something, like identifying the strengths and weaknesses of your opponents. But how I see it, anything is viable. You play your own game. If you play what you know you're good at, most of the time you'll get work done. My team has played in a match before where we went into it with the mentality, this team has a crazy good Pharah, so we're going to forget everything we know and we're going to play to beat this Pharah. And it didn't work. You don't want to play you don't want to change everything you know or change something up that you are comfortable with just to beat something else. I think it's a lot better to play what you're comfortable with, and usually you'll be able to find a counter. I'm not saying don't counter pick. This game's all about counter picking, but in a situation like this, Brawl is viable. Probably go over to the Brawl if you're comfortable on that.
Yeah, for sure.
So you got the Nano Pharah going in for the tempo. Pushing them back, solid. Oh, that's no bueno. There he goes, dies to the mines. Got grounded. Ball going in. Y'all are winning this fight, so keep going. Nice, already almost coming up on another Zen ult. Really nice. Take a look at Magnify here. There you go, nice kill on the Mercy. Intentional or not, it was a good kill. Alright. I like the mines, or I like the once again the trance to counter the mines. I prefer that over, y'all don't have Sombra anymore, but I prefer that over the Sombra ult. Yeah, Sombra ult, it just wins fights. You press Q, you win the fight. It's crazy how it works. But Zen ult, you can still get value out of it after you destroy the mines. You can destroy the mines and then use it as an aggressive push. Just play together, be aggressive with it. Now, of course, Rocket could hit an amazing purple, and that would minute it, but nice peels there. Couldn't save the Zen, but it was good attempt at peels. It's a very close fight here.
This one goes on for a while.
It does.
Yeah.
So I'll just kind of let it play out. There's not too much to this fight other than, you know, clean up, trying to stabilize. There's mines, pulse bomb. I'm no professional commentator, but I'll do my best. Nice picks, keep going out. Doom, I will comment on the Doom. I do kind of like the switch to a Doom, especially on the last second stall. I mean, you just go out of that gate, maybe you'll get lucky and get a punch. I mean, Doom is a strong last second stall, and if you have someone who's good at Doom, I mean, it can change the tide of a fight for sure.
He got like 2 picks. We would have capped with time if he didn't, I think.
Yeah.
And almost C9, that's alright though. Massive bomb. Wolf, good job. And
Wolf
cleaning
really
up.
good in the cleanups. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Beautiful cap. I mean, y'all had a few stutters here and there, but a full cap is a full cap. I don't care how much time you have left. Full cap's a full cap. Alright.
There you go.
We just saw it was the Inferno Foxes. Y'all, I won't say rolled, but y'all put up a strong attack. So going into this side switch, y'all's mentality. We'll start with the Inferno Foxes. So Magnify.
It was pretty good. We basically were thinking that we would run a similar comp because, well, they seem to have trouble with it. On pretty much whichever comp they were running, aside from the previous map, Hanamura, I believe. And so we basically were going to keep with the dive chaos comp-ish and just force their Ana to alt F4.
Yep, I see the chaos comp there for y'all. I see the chaos comp, and actually this, here we go. This is more of a traditional chaos comp from what I've seen.
A little bit closer to counter the Pharah with the soldier there.
Yeah, this is more of a traditional chaos comp from what I've seen. Sigma Ball, Soldier, Tracer, Brig, Zen. Usually when I see chaos comp, this is what it is. So what about Rocket? What about y'all?
We were decently happy with our defense. You know, obviously getting them into overtime is better than having them get time.
Yep.
And we kind of just knew that it was like little mistakes that were costing us, like just like simple positioning mistakes, like aggression, coming in at the wrong times. So we knew that if we fix that, we could definitely have a just as strong, if not better, attack.
Yeah, good. So y'all are playing.
3.
I think it's pretty much the same comp, except for you're dropping the diva and replacing it for a monkey. Is that correct?
Oh no, Remy's just trolling. He starts on monkey every single map. He's a monkey player at heart.
That's right. I'm a Torbjorn player at heart. Nothing wrong with that. All right, so let's see the position here. We have the Zen there on the left. Brig a little bit split off, but that's fine. Nothing too crazy. I like the positioning. There's the ball sitting up there. Like I said, some people sit there. I was saying that a lot of teams will kind of sit here. I guess I did kind of forget to mention some teams will sit here on the left. They can rotate up, rotate back. Pretty much the only thing I will say is nobody – you don't see like that whole comp or quick play Reinhardt sitting with his shield here. You never see that. I mean, that's just something you never see. We're better than that. So anyways, yeah, let's just see how this plays out. Playing pretty tight together. I like that. I like the Sigma shield guarding there in the left. Backing up to point early. Was there a specific call that made that? That made y'all decide to back up to point?
There was, but it was a misplay because me and Blink were like kind of going in at this exact moment, and they were backing out. So we had, because of this LOS to healers, I think the call to go back was so that they could like shelter from the Pharah.
Okay.
But me and Blink didn't get the memo in time, and so we end up like, well, Blink ends up getting picked. I think I make it out with a sliver of HP, and then have to grab like a couple health packs.
Oh, he's living.
Barely.
You made it.
Barely.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, making that call, that's not a bad call. I mean, back up, don't give Pharah a line of sight. That's not a bad call. I mean, losing the Tracer, not a big deal. She'll be back very, very fast. And since you lost the Tracer, I see y'all are playing very passive. Playing in this room, not giving Pharah lots of stuff. Just give him ticks. Nothing to it. Give him ticks, wait for the Tracer to get back, and y'all are okay. Pharah's going to make it hard, though, you know, giving ticks in. She is deep in there. She's going for it.
She just went in and wrecked her backline.
Yeah,
Unfortunate.
we called for full aggression here. Like after we got you into that room, we kind of knew that the fight was won.
Yeah, they didn't let us. If they let us stabilize, this might have gone a different way, but they didn't, and it was just.
I mean,
we didn't punish in time, and so yeah.
That's not a bad call at all. Get aggressive there. Pharah, if you get on the right angle as a Pharah, you're gonna get really good value. Really, you know, like high tier teams will probably be able to punish that if really well coordinated, if just really well skilled. But it takes some really good skill to be able to do that. I mean, not a lot of teams can punish. Really nice stick there, and you're just gonna clean up the Zen. Very tough to get out of that situation. Very well played there.
Yeah, we didn't want, kind of like what we did to them, we didn't want them to start stuffing us before we could really get the payload moving, because if you get carts stuck in this area of Eichenwald, it's really hard to push through.
It is.
So we really didn't want to kind of get stuffed here, so the call was made to play aggressive, use ultimates, and just set up positioning.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad call at all. What did they used? Only Pulse Bomb, I think? If that's right, I think you only use Pulse Bomb. Yeah, that's great. Inferno Foxes and Magnify, y'all's ult economy lacking a little bit, but that's natural. I mean, y'all lost 2 fights. What I've been told from being coached from people who are better than me is in a position like this, you lose that first, you're down ults, you want to regroup as fast as possible and take a fight here at the choke. You want to engage on them as fast as you can, try to even out that ult economy before they can start staggering you all and just steamroll, snowball with more ults. You want to do your best to even out that ult economy, which I guess is another sort of idea other than hold at the door. You're kind of going in for a lost fight, and it's kind of the opposite of a dry push. Instead of getting ults out of them, let's throw our
Build
bodies
around.
on. Yeah, let's throw our bodies onto them. Just deal as much damage as we can, not really caring about our own lives, and just get ults. Make the next fight ours. As long as you, like I said, mentality. As long as you're going into every fight with a solid plan, this is the outcome we want to get out of it. And if that outcome isn't let's win the fight, that's okay. As long as you succeed in your goal of something like let's get ult charge or let's get ults out of them, you're succeeding. You're winning the fight mentally, and that's huge.
I like that approach. I like the idea that, you know, there's always something that you can get out of a fight, right?
Yeah, always.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a fight win. It can be, your goal can be something else, and I think that's a lesson that a lot of people, including myself, can learn.
Yeah, I think it's a lot better to look at it that way rather than is that hold on, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Rocket?
Did we find the other one?
Yeah, so that was the other one. Oh no, I don't think we need to watch it back. Uh-oh.
It's just a gift for being revived.
Oh yeah.
You're powered up.
Oh, she jets away at the last moment.
Yeah.
That's so unlucky.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think Titanic was counting down. Give me Nano, and then he said now as he boosts away. So you know, that one's kind of unfortunate, but yeah.
It happens.
I just trust our Mercy player enough to get work done with the Nano.
Oh, of course. I mean, I play Mercy on our team, so I would trust myself too. Do you have Nano confirmation on or no?
I used to have it on, but I turned it off a while ago just because I found that like
It just works better for you.
Yeah, it was an extra step. And I kind of wanted to eliminate that. Like like my Ana just feels a lot smoother when I have it off.
Yeah.
And this honestly, like this having 2 missed nanos in one map is it's a rarity. It doesn't happen often. I promise.
Okay, all right.
I hit those on LAN. I promise.
It's the coach's corner curse. The CCC.
It's real.
Yeah.
All right, we got Soldier ulting behind. All right. Nice. I mean, a lot of ults up there are solid. Pharah almost 2-taps the Soldier. Payload almost just gets pushed in. Magnify with the contest. You're the contest king. There's the rally. Here we go.
Oh, wow.
Nice barrage. Really good barrage. Taking out both DPS. Oh, alright.
I thought I got him. I got him.
Let's watch some Magnify
Yeah,
here.
it looks so close. It looks like he got it right at the last second or something.
Yeah, got the boosters back there.
Yep.
Tried going for that Mega.
Not
Couldn't
going
make
for
it.
the Mega. Not quite.
It's tough. Y'all are trying to survive.
We do stall it for a little while, but yeah.
I mean,
we just
y'all
get
got ults here.
too much. We do.
Y'all got ults here, and that's huge. So what's the plan going into this fight, Magnify?
Probably mines to split. And then maybe a bomb to zone the Pharah if she stays forward.
Did you take control? Or
Oh, I'm
there we
sorry.
go.
Yeah, I accidentally hit the mouse. My bad.
You're all good.
The fat finger.
All right. So
Yep.
what were you saying?
Yeah, basically just to probably mines to split, maybe get a couple picks. Obviously, we're gonna go for a it's pretty much use all alts. Try to win the fight before we are forced to use trance.
Good. Yeah.
Because
that's
we
good.
wanna save that one specifically.
Yeah, for sure. And I noticed y'all switched over
swap
to
onto
the
the
Lucio. Are y'all
I
ball, or
think
what
that
was the idea there?
I think that was premature.
Okay.
And I think that we had there was some confusion regarding that. I'm pretty sure he switches back at some point.
Okay. Let's see.
But I think we take this fight.
Okay. Let's see. There's the mine. Splits them off really well. Yeah, that's a really nice split off. Great kill on the Ana there. Let's check what's going on way back here. The Zenol. Is that
Does come out.
Was that forced out?
I believe so by the Pharah.
Let's see.
Might have been a panic ult too.
Yeah, maybe. It happens. Oh wait, yeah, I passed it.
Yeah, you passed it. Sorry.
There we go. Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
The
Nano
rockets,
Farah.
the rockets just coming in one after the other. DM's
Nano
running up.
Farah, that's
Yep.
scary.
Yeah.
That's alright though. Y'all are still chilling. Payload's still split off. Y'all have the spawns. Nice bomb.
Surprised King made it out. I didn't think he was going to.
I didn't think so
Yeah.
either.
Yeah.
So right here, we're calling for a soft reset.
Yeah.
Just hold positioning and try and stay alive until we get our Farah back.
Yeah. Missed the pulse. Here comes some ults. The counter push going in. Let's go watch the Farah here. That was a nice eat, but you know, it's tough. And man, this is just shifting. We got Wolf's ult coming. We got Wolf's ult here. Come on, Wolf. Nice defense matrix. He's still got Rocket. And here we go. The cleanup. Maybe not. There's the Doomfist that I like to see.
You had a hard time in this fight, Rocket.
Yeah.
That just looks rough, man.
Wow. There's the Doomfist. Both teams going over to Doomfist. I mean, I really like.
Yeah, Remy actually saves this fight. I want to see if you guys catch it.
Does he? Okay.
Whoa.
No, nice.
Oh my gosh.
So
Hello.
sad. It was so sad.
Oh my goodness. The
All the
tanks.
damage. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Let's go watch that back from the ball. Let's give the ball a little bit of props here.
Yeah, everyone was low because the rematch.
Rematch, yeah.
Yeah.
I hate these maps where it's awkward to spin on.
Same.
Yeah, just-
Oh, that's where it was.
Really good.
Yeah.
Really nice. I mean, that's really nice.
bad amount of damage. We'll just pile
Alright,
up right
Magnify.
there.
Come on, Magnify.
Yeah.
Stall it out. Aw.
Just enough for people to get back, but it was two staggered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's rough
And then
there.
the mines, yeah.
I'll give props over to Quokka Kings. I mean, that fight, that was pretty much one long fight from all the way back here.
Yeah.
Inferno.
Never a full disengage.
There was
Yeah.
never a full
Yeah.
disengage. Magnify, you did a great job. That was a really good mind splitting them off. Very good. Props to you. But it was tough. That Farah really put out work, and
Yeah.
you all did a great job. I love the switch over to Soldier to at least put a little bit more pressure on her. The Zenyatta to put Discords on her. I guess it's just you need even more pressure. How often would you say maybe your diva was trying to focus down the Farah?
Pretty often. Like I would say at least 50% of her time was like DMing rockets or like
Wow.
jumping in her face, something like that.
I
'Cause
mean,
it was really high.
that Farah, I will say that was really good Farah gameplay. So I think, for the cards you were dealt, you all did an alright job. So we'll go one more time here. The final side switch coming in here. Magnify, you don't have let me kind of describe this. You don't have a chance to win this map. You understand the Farah's the problem. You got 1 minute 40 seconds to hold. What are you and your team thinking?
See, our first point went really poorly.
Yep.
So we were on the fence of like, do we switch comps? Do we try the same thing? Because like we didn't fully know at this point where exactly the mistake was. We knew it was somewhere on communication, but some people were like, "Oh, we backed up too soon," which I believe was the correct answer, and some people were like, "Oh, the Fire is just putting out too much pressure," which she did, but that's the symptom of us being split very much at the start.
Yeah,
Um,
like you said, you did kind of lose this point due to miscommunication. I saw half the team backing up, which wasn't a bad call, but then it was just a miscommunication.
We were already diving at that point, so it was shifty.
Yeah.
So
yeah, keep going.
Yeah, we were just kind of unsure of what to do, was the sentiment. We end up just kind of playing the same thing. And we stall it for a little bit, I think, but they do end up capping.
I mean, I'm not going to say you shouldn't try again. I think you all kind of recognized that what made it not work was miscommunication. You had nothing to show that it was a comp diff or anything like that. You had nothing to show that. You didn't even really get a chance. So that's a tough position. Do you want to try something completely new, or do you want to try something that didn't work? Going into the whole mentality thing, it's tough doing, like, saying, okay, we're going to do the comp that I guess, got rolled on. It's tough because it kind of puts you in a negative mindset. You're kind of going into this point like, well, we kind of got first time. Is this really what we do? So what I would say is, if you're going to commit to it, that's in the past. Forget about it. This is a new defense. This is a new attempt. You all identified what was the problem. You split up, a little bit of miscommunication, whatever. Move on, brand new defense. So that's what you got to do if you want to rerun this. And I guess the same kind of goes for if you want to switch the comp up. If you want to switch it up, it's like, well, this is a brand new comp. Is this even going to work? If you want to switch it up, you need to tell yourselves, look, we have a goal. We need to counter this Pharah. We are switching to this comp to counter the Pharah. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So Rocket, what about y'all in the quota queens?
Yeah, so we're feeling like pretty good at this moment, and like our strategy wasn't really shifted. We were pretty sure that they were gonna stay on the ball comp, and if they weren't on the ball comp, we were pretty confident they would try going over to a double shield, like a Babsen double shield, which we didn't feel like we really needed to change anything up for. Our tank line is doing a little bit of trolling. So don't worry about that, but...
Sorry, everyone's teams does it.
Yep.
Yeah. So, so we were feeling good. This attack here does not go kind of the way that we wanted to. It ends up becoming like really scrappy, and we just barely managed to pull it out. But overall, like our mental was high, and we felt like we didn't really need to change a whole lot.
Yeah, good. Magnify, I see y'all decided to try to take on the Pharah. The Pharah version.
Yeah, that was a bit of the. Well, let's try something a little bit new.
Sure.
Rather than just the exact same thing, which I don't think they fully expected, but they did adapt to it.
Yeah, I mean, you all made two switches. You switched over to the Pharah. You originally had a Sigma. Now that's a Diva.
Yeah.
And did you have Mercy? I don't remember.
No, I think we had Brig. I'm pretty sure we had Brig.
Yes, you had Brig. That's
Brig.
what it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess let's check out how this Pharah. I guess 2v2 or whatever. Yeah, I mean, y'all just want to be coming into this fight confident in your abilities. It might have been rough, but you still put up a good defense, good attack. Y'all still got this. Tension's being split a little bit. Ball. Nice pick. Yep, there's the picks coming in. Nice pick by Wolf there. I want to check that out. Give him a little bit of props. Wow, nice shot.
Yeah.
Real nice shot, and y'all cleaned up here. Pharah got it back, and in the end you lost the Pharah, but I think that was meant to fight, maybe? I don't know, that Pharah is really putting out work.
Yeah.
Go over to Wolf, goes over to Doom, which is the contest king, as I've been preaching. Magnify doing a great job contesting. At this position, y'all are just staggering in, trying to save this, you need someone like Magnify to go in while he's stalling, identify a weakness, and go for it. You don't have a lot of options here, except for maybe farm up an ult, maybe get a healer. It's really rough here in this position, and y'all do end up getting rocked, which is solid. And maybe really nice pick by Wolf. Reborn kills himself, and are we gonna stabilize? DMAC on Remy. Get him. Get the ball.
Dude, it's so tough to get a ball. I chase him, and I'm like, he gets out.
Yeah.
Oh, he goes back.
He gave me so much ult charge off that as well.
This is a very back and forth fight, but that was a massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
really
minefield
big
was
mines
huge.
there.
I thought that my mines would kill his, but because I got them like just a fraction of a second sooner, but they weren't overlapped as much as I thought they were.
I mean, we'll go back and look at that very quickly. I mean, right?
I think I get booped into one after I see at
Let's
the end.
see. Who sends the mines out first?
Pretty sure it's me by just a fraction of a second.
Justice reigns.
Oh yeah, it was.
Wow. At the same time.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, by Wolf. I mean, it was really just King of Kling. I mean, we saw some great stuff out of him.
Yeah.
On that last point, he was really putting in some work on the ball. And the Pharah, I mean, saying it the whole time that he's been putting in work as well. But I'm not going to sleep on Inferno Foxes. I saw great things from y'all. I'm going to get that out of there so we don't have to listen to that beeping. I mean, Inferno Foxes, y'all played an amazing map. I mean, it was just that Pharah that really shuts you down. Trying to figure out a solution to the Pharah, and maybe if this was any other map, it might have been a completely different situation. It's really hard. I mean, you got high ground, high ground, high ground. This second point is huge for Pharah. What else? High ground there, high ground in the back. Inside it gets a little bit difficult, which, like I'm saying, maybe switching over to the brawl might have been the call. But overall, I saw great things. Remy had... Give me 1 second. I hear someone knocking at my door.
Yeah, sure thing.
I'm sorry.
No worries.
Let's see.
It's good timing right towards the end.
Yeah.
My Twitter is blowing up. Why is... What the hell?
Maybe you got tagged for... I don't think I tagged you yet for Coach's Corner.
Oh! No. Okay. You guys know who Pharaoh is, right? Like, roughly 7,000 or 7,200 followers on Twitter.
Oh, wow.
I think I've heard the name.
Yeah, just retweeted it, or tweeted about something that or like a conversation that Ghost and I had about space and Mulf.
Nice. That's awesome.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm good to go whenever.
All right, I'll count us in. 5, 4, 3, 2.
So yeah, I mean, it's really rough. I mean, Pharah is very powerful here. You can play the high ground cover up here. There's so many opportunities for Pharah, and maybe that's just something Inferno might just look at and work on in your next scrims. On a map that is Pharah orientated, whatever the word is, Pharah based, a map that Pharah is very viable. How can you deal with Pharah? Is it more hit scans? Is it putting all our focus into her? Or is it simply, let's ignore the Pharah, deal with the backline, and if the backline's dead, Pharah will she can kill a few people, but you all will have the overall more value. And that's something I think we see at like Overwatch League level and stuff. They're ignoring the Pharah.
Right.
And just dealing with the backline and stuff.
Well,
but yeah, I mean, it was a great match. Very good match up there. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, mental game. Yeah, y'all's mental game sounded good. Just keep thinking positive, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Positivity is great.
That is one thing that I pride in Inferno is we have very, very good mental.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to give a quick example. When we first formed our team, the Platlaws, we got some coaching, and we were told like, hey, we're playing in the Trank season. We're playing against this team, this team, this team. And we were told stuff like, oh, that team's really hard. You're going to have a rough time against that team. Oh, they're going to do terrific, good luck beating them, stuff like that. And I tell my players, I'm like, look, don't listen to that. That's just going to put you in a negative mindset. You're going to go into that match like, oh my gosh, they're better than us. You never want to go into a match thinking the other team is better than you. And that's kind of going to my main point. Beat yourself before you can beat the opponents. You want to make sure when you go into every single match, you are confident in your ability as an individual and your ability as a team to play your game, play what you know, and beat the opponents. And if you're not able to go in with that mindset, you're going to have a lot harder of a time beating the opponents. You got to be in a good mental state, a positive state to beat your opponents. Summarize it. Don't listen to the haters. Play your own game. You're better. Just because people say they're better doesn't mean it's true. They've never played you before, maybe. And even if you have played them in the past and they rolled you or something, you've practiced more. You've improved. You have new strategies and you know what they play. Adapt and play your game.
All right. Thank you so much. Before we close things out, do you, Rocket and Magnify, have any last questions for Jake?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
All right. Well, thank you so much. This has been another fantastic episode. Really appreciate all three of you coming in here tonight for this. And if you've enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe, follow Overwatch Tranquility. You can also find any of us. Jake, we've got a different Twitter for him, Twitter for his for his team. So we'll get that to you. But if you want to find myself, follow me, follow any of the other players, Magnify or Rocket. We're going to have our Twitters in the credits. So thank you all so much. Be sure to check out all the other great content that we have. We have the Iris podcast, the Beat Drop, predicting tranquility, pardon me. The other three great content shows that we have going on right now in Overwatch Tranquility. And of course, be sure to check out the rest of the matches happening this week, Wednesday night and Thursday night, the Transcendence and Discord tier. So thank you all so much for coming in. Once again, my name's Warren Juggle Guide Hammond. GG's and see you next time.